Well, hello, and welcome back to the Elsie version. Today we are in 1 Corinthians 13. A little context. Paul was just talking about the spiritual gifts in all of chapter 12. And verse 29 in chapter 12 goes as such. Are all apostles, are all prophets, are all teachers, do all work miracles, do all possess gifts of healing, do all speak with tongues, do all interpret, but earnestly desire the higher gifts. And I will show you still a more excellent way. And this is when it gets into chapter 13. If I speak in the tongues of men and of angels, but have not love, I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. That's pretty heavy. Verse 2. And if I have prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so as to remove mountains, but I have not love, I am nothing. Do notice that prophetic powers and faith go hand in hand even here, right? Because the tongues of men and angels, right? And then it's prophetic powers and faith. So I think it's Romans 12. I think. Might be Romans 14. But anyway, when he's talking about spiritual gifts there, he also says those who are called to prophesy, to do so in the measure of their faith. So they go hand in hand. Anyway, he's saying that even if he understands all the things of the world and is super knowledgeable, super powerful, and has super signs and wonders, he's still nothing. You want to know why? Because God is love. So if you're doing these things without God, it's witchcraft, right? So he's saying it is pointless without God. Verse 3. If I give away all I have, and if I deliver up my body to be burned, to be martyred, but have not love, I gain nothing. So all you will have, right? That's what Jesus said to that last man, because he loved his neighbor and stuff like that. But Paul is saying you gain nothing if you don't have love. Verse 4. Love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. I want you to ponder for a moment the fact that each of these attributes would, where there's one attribute, the rest should follow, right? Because this is what love is. It's all of these things. And I would challenge you that if you have one where you're like, well, yeah, but, you know, sometimes I'm not patient or sometimes I'm not kind. Well, that's where you're choosing to sin. It's a pretty good way to check your blind spots, right? Would you and other people say all of these things about you? But this is why God is love. Like, these are all attributes of him. He does not insist on his own way, does he? Isn't that crazy? That's one of the attributes of this. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. That was Jesus. Love never ends. As for prophecies, they will pass away. As for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part and we prophesy in part. But when the perfect comes, heaven, the partial will pass away. When I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I gave up childish ways. For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now when we look in the mirror, we see the image of God in a sense, right? Because God made us in his image. And the Spirit of God is inside of us. So it's almost like you're looking at him, but you're only seeing it dimly. But when we get to heaven, we get to be face to face with him. And everything will be made whole, right? Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I have been fully known. That's a wonderful thought. You will get to know fully. So now faith, hope, and love abide, these things, these three. But the greatest of these is love. Amen. So, are you doing all things in love? Even the little things. Every post you make, every word you say, every thought you think, is it done in love? Because the reality is, that's the only thing that's worth anything. If you do not love, you're nothing. I would like to take this moment to remind you that Jesus did not defend himself. I'm not saying don't have boundaries. I'm not saying let people abuse you. But no greater love than this, than he who dies for his own friend. He who gives up his own life for his own friend. And that begs a question. Are you crucifying your flesh for your friends? That's what selflessness is. So, if you're not truly loving them, right? They will know us by how we love each other. Love is sacrificial. Love costs. It's freely given and freely received. But the person giving it, it costs them something. Jesus doesn't need a lawyer. You couldn't defend him even if you tried. He doesn't need you to justify him or your actions or your decisions. He justifies you. He doesn't need you to take a stand. He needs you to be a light. Yes, that means speaking out against wrong. But would you not? There are some wrongs that you're supposed to let pass. And that's what it talks about in 1 Corinthians, right? So, I would ask, again, is everything you do thinking about others' needs more than your own? It's not that your needs don't need to be met, they should. But are you focusing on being God's ambassador, showing up, loving others well, being a light? Or are you focusing on defending the Lord? Because if it's the latter, oftentimes it's not that you feel the need to defend the Lord, but you feel the need to defend yourself and your beliefs and your interpretation of the Bible. Jesus justifies you. You don't need to defend yourself. You don't need to proclaim why you believe what you believe. You should know the answer. But let's do a better job as Christians of truly loving one another, instead of tearing each other apart. And I would ask that each of us tonight take the time to ask the Lord where we need to love each other better. And ask him to search us and know us. And to point it out. So, that's it for tonight. And I'll see you tomorrow.